Good day. This is David Johnson. Welcome to Skagit Talks. Today we have an old friend who's back to return with us and visit us, and we also have two new friends. The old friend is my good friend Cindy Verge. She's the executive director of the Skagit Valley Tulip Festival and been here many times. Cindy, welcome back. Good to have you with us.
I'm glad to be here, David.
It's always good to have our two new friends as well. We have Isel Morales. Hi,
Hello.
Isel. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
And we also have with us today Olivia Olson. Olivia, welcome.
Thank you.
It's good to have Isel and Olivia with us because they are the 2019 Key Bank Tulip Ambassadors. And that means they do all kinds of wonderful things for the Tulip Festival. Cindy, why don't you give us a quick rundown on how we go about selecting the ambassadors and kind of what their general job description is?
Well, we get to go to classrooms around Skagit Valley in January of each year and invite our 4th and 5th graders to try out to be Tulip Ambassadors. And they're chosen at an event where they are asked two questions. One is, why do you want to be a Tulip Ambassador? The second is a surprise question that we think up that's not too tough.
So it's not like, what's the capital of Michigan?
No, it's not. It's more like, what's your favorite subject in school and why? Is one of the questions that we've used before. And at the end of the evening, our judges have judged all the contestants, and at the end of the evening, the boy with the top score and the girl with the top score are named our ambassadors, and then they get to go out and do things for us. They get to appear on radio, just like this. They get to go visit the governor and other elected officials in Olympia. They will be in a parade. They get to do a behind-the-scenes tour at Washington Bulb Company and see their bulb growing operation in the greenhouse, and many other things.
Well, it sounds like an awful lot of fun. So I'm going to ask Olivia first. First of all, are you enjoying yourself being an ambassador? Is it fun?
Yes, very fun.
Is it as fun as you thought it was going to be, or is there more work?
It's fun.
There was a shoulder shrug there, ladies and gentlemen. She had to think about an answer for that one. So, Olivia, do you remember what your surprise question was?
What my favorite superhero was.
How'd you answer? Do you remember?
I said Iron Man because he had a shield, but it's not. It's Captain America.
You lied.
But they believed me, so.
Okay. All right, maybe you can go into public relations when you grow up someday. And then how did you answer the question about why you wanted to be the Tulip Festival Ambassador? Do you remember that?
I want to be a Tulip Ambassador because I just like to meet people and like make new friends, and it would just be so fun, and yeah.
Okay, well, that sounds like a good answer to me. Now, you're a 5th grader, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so did you try out when you were a 4th grader? Because only 4th and 5th graders can try
I
out.
just tried out this year.
So a one and done, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right, good for you. Now, what are some other things you do? You're at Washington Elementary, is that right?
Yes.
And somebody tells me you're on student council?
I'm president of student council.
President of student council. What are some cool things you've done as president of student council? Or what has the student council done? That's pretty cool.
Well, we did Pennies for Patients, and it was raising money for kids with blood cancer. And the first goal was $1,000. Our second goal was $2,000, and our third goal was $3,000. Our whole entire school raised about $3,500
Holy
for
smokes.
our school.
Wow, that's pretty darn good. So where's that money go?
For the patients with blood cancer.
Okay, very good. Very cool. That's great. Well, Isel, you are at Westview Elementary in Burlington.
Yes, I am.
And you're in what, 5th grade too?
Yes.
Did you try out last year when you were a 4th grader?
Nope.
Another one and done.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty darn cool. So tell me, you remember what your answer was to why you wanted to be a Tulip Festival Ambassador?
Yes, I do.
Would you mind telling us?
No problem. It was because I wanted to bring the diversity of Skagit Valley because there's so many different people and religions, and just because you are from different cultures or different religions doesn't mean that you can't enjoy the same things as other people.
That's a pretty darn good answer. I happen to agree 100% with that, and as I do with Olivia's answer as well, of course. So how about your surprise question? Do you remember what it was?
Yes, it was what was your favorite TV show and why?
Okay, answer.
It was Saved by the Bell because that's something that me and my dad would watch every morning. It's something that we would enjoy.
Cool. Saved by the Bell. That's kind of an old show, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay, but you're not that old.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so you are at Westview Elementary. How did the other kids at Westview Elementary respond when they learned out that Isel Morales was the 2019 Key Bank Ambassador this year?
I don't know. You'd have to ask them.
They didn't declare it Isel Morales Day or anything. Huh?
No.
All right. How about you, Olivia? How did your friends at Washington Elementary respond?
Well, my friends, they're like, oh, cool, and they kind of forgot about it. But my teacher, she was very excited.
Yeah.
Because there hasn't been a lot of it's been a long time since student at Washington Elementary School has been Tulip Ambassador.
Well, that's a question for Cindy. Cindy, how long have we been doing ambassadors all together? The festival's in its, what, 36th year?
Well, yes, we did Little Miss Tulip about the third year, and we did that for till about 1996 or so. And then we started having Tulip Ambassadors because we wanted to have boys involved as well as girls. And at that time, we had third, fourth, and fifth graders. Now we went down to just 2, and it's been well over a decade since we've had a student from Washington Elementary, and we had never had a student from Westview Elementary ever.
So Rookie of the Year, I guess, as well
Yes,
as
indeed.
one and done. That's not bad at all. Okay, so you guys have done some things. There's still some things coming up. I know tomorrow you're going to the PACCAR open house, and you're going to a parade. So, Olivia, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you did when you went down to Olympia, because you got to meet the governor and some other folks.
Yeah, we got to make our own state seal, which is pretty cool. And actually, one thing about the governor I didn't know is that he's like really into photography. Because in his conference room, he had like a whole bunch of pictures that he took, and they're actually really good.
They're ones that he took, huh? You think the pictures are presidential material?
Maybe.
A very diplomatic answer. Isel, how about you? What do you think? You were nodding your head there about some of the things Olivia was saying.
It was a really interesting time. We got to meet state representatives for District 39, 40, and I can't remember how the others, but it was really fun, and the governor was really nice, and I thought he was going to be super serious, but he was just calm. It seemed he enjoyed his job a lot.
I imagine he does. Well, he's a dad, too, and I think that helps. It helps when you're dealing with folks like you. So it's a long day to go to Olympia.
It is.
What time did you start? Or did you go down the night before, or did you go down real early on morning?
In the morning.
Wow, that's a long day.
Yeah.
Yeah, Isel is agreeing quite diplomatically as
Their
well.
parents were very efficient and got down there early enough for breakfast before, and I think it might have involved a nap in a car as well.
Yeah, because we moved down at 4 o'clock in the morning. We woke up, and then we started driving. And my mom was really tired, so she took a nap in the car.
She wasn't driving, was she?
No.
Oh, that's good news. All right. I am glad to hear that. Okay, Isel, you talked a little bit about some of the diversity here in Skagit County. Talk to me a little bit more about that. What is it impresses you or has affected you about that?
Can you please explain your question again?
Sure. You talked about when you wanted to be an ambassador because you talked about all the different diversity that's here in the county.
Okay.
And then as you've been the ambassador, have you been able to talk about that, maybe with the governor or with anybody else to kind of share your thoughts?
No, I have not.
Not yet. Okay. That's all right. Nothing wrong with that.
I think while we were down to the governor, I think we were just shaking a lot of hands.
And smiling, probably.
Yeah.
Did you get a lot of pictures taken?
A lot.
I
Yes.
guess. Okay.
Too many pictures.
Too many pictures. We'll have to ask your moms who are in the studio with us if that's okay. Just to remind you, you're listening to KSVR. This is David Johnson. We're talking with Isel Morales and Olivia Olson, who are our KeyBank Tulip Festival ambassadors, and also with us today is Cindy Verge, who is the executive director of the Skagit Valley Tulip Festival. And there's some things coming up tomorrow as well. And Cindy, why don't you talk a little bit about the PACCAR open house, because the kids probably don't know a whole lot about what they're going to be doing tomorrow.
They don't. They'll be shaking some more hands, handing out some goodies for PACCAR. And before they do that, though, they'll get to go see semi-trucks.
So remind us a little bit what PACCAR does and why they have an open house.
They're a test and development center, and it's a closed facility all the rest of the year except for one day during the Tulip Festival. And that's where they check and see what's going to happen to a semi-truck if it's really cold or really hot. And they figured out a way to gain an extra mile a gallon on mileage. And so they actually will take semi-trucks and run them out on the track. And all of that science and all of what they do is on display one day a year, and our ambassadors get to go greet people that come there.
So it's open to the public? Do they have to? How much does it cost to go?
It's free. Free is good.
Free is good. Free is good.
Yes.
And yeah, everybody's agreeing that free is good. So PACCAR is located, I know it's kind of outside of town. Where about is PACCAR open house?
It is over there on, not Best Road, Farm to Market.
Farm to Market.
I had to
right,
think
yeah.
about that.
So
Sorry
that's
about
why I
that.
asked you.
Yes, and you, instead of going left on Best Road, you go right on Farm to Market Road, and it's past, of all places, the dump, and it'll be on your right-hand side.
Okay, and that's all tomorrow. What time is that tomorrow?
That's from 11 to 3.
11 to 3, no cost. And there's also a parade going on tomorrow. Did you kids know you're going to be in a parade tomorrow?
Yes,
Yes.
we did.
All right. Have you been practicing your waves or how to wave to the crowd?
No.
No.
Okay. Well, I'm going to teach you 3 waves before we leave here, but we won't do that on the radio because waving isn't all that fun on the radio.
No.
Okay. So, Cindy, talk a little bit about the parade tomorrow.
We've got more entries than we've ever had the day before our impromptu parade. And we've got a couple of drill teams, we've got some car clubs, we've got a band, we've got dogs and horses and lots of people. And Dale Irvin from the Laconic Kiwanis group is going to be our Grand Marshal. And Dale joined me, back in 2003 when I went to them and said, hey guys, what do you think? Can we make this a celebration of the tulips? And they said yes. And we started having the parade in Laconic the very next year,
Okay, so the parade takes place at 2 o'clock, is that right?
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock in downtown Laconic on First Street. So do you close off the whole street hours before, or is it just before the parade starts?
Just before the parade starts, we have ACE volunteers from the Laconic Fire Department who will go and set out barricades and help us with traffic control. And they do that all for ice cream.
That's a pretty good deal. Okay, so I'm talking back to the ambassadors again this time, and we've talked a little bit about Olympia. Olivia, tell me a little bit about the behind-the-scenes tour. You got to go see the greenhouses at Washington Bowl. What was all that like?
That was fun because there were just so many things I didn't know about it. My grandma tagged along so she could look at the flowers and see how they were doing, so she could have some advice too.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Isel, how about you? When you're behind the scenes tour, what was one thing you learned that you didn't have any idea about with tulips or with daffodils or any bulbs?
I don't know. It was really interesting to see the bulbs and how the flowers were growing, the process that they go through, how you put them in the freezer or how you put them in the greenhouse and things like that. It's just really interesting. And they can deliver flowers in under 18 hours.
Wow. Anywhere in the world or anywhere in the United States?
I believe anywhere in the world?
No, anywhere in the United States.
Anywhere in the United States.
That's pretty darn cool.
Yeah,
It's hard for planes to fly that fast and get them there and go all around the world. But
Yeah. But they're still pretty good.
Yep.
Okay. So you've also been greeting some visitors at Rosengarde and Tulip Town. So Isel, how did that go? Was that fun?
Yes, it was very fun. I shook a lot of people's hands. It was really enjoyable.
Did a lot of people take your picture of you shaking hands?
No.
Not this time, huh?
No.
No, not like the governor's office? Okay, how about Olivia? Did you have fun doing that?
Yes.
Did you meet anybody from someplace that's exotic or different?
Well, there's a whole bunch of different people from different cultures there, but that was kind of cool to see all the different people that came to see the tulips in Mount Vernon.
Yeah. A lot of them come from different parts. I had a niece who was visiting from Philadelphia, and she timed her visit so she could come see the tulips at Rosengarde. Probably when you were there, you might even have met her. So, Cindy, we've got some more stuff coming up, and I know that usually towards the end of the month there's a princess party or a hero party. Remind me what that
Princess
is.
and Hero. We have Cinderella on the last Saturday of April, and we have Spider Guy on the last Sunday for the youngsters that like the tulips and like those characters.
Okay, and this year there's a Tulip Foundation pop-up wine tasting tour during the
Yes.
street fair. I don't think we've had that before.
We have not had that. That's brand new, and we'll be working with Passage Cellars to feature their wines since they're the official wine of the Tulip Festival, and obviously that is not for the youngsters. And we're selling tickets, and if you buy a ticket, you get a wine bag and a free glass along with your wine tastings.
It sounds like downtown Mount Vernon's the place to be, and that's the
does.
weekend of Easter, isn't it? 19th, 20th, and 21st?
It is.
All right. Well, we've been talking today with Isel Morales and Olivia Olson. They are our Key Bank Tulip Festival ambassadors, and Cindy Verge, the executive director of the Skagit Valley Tulip Festival. It's David Johnson. Thanks for listening. Hey, we'll see you out in the tulip field. Have a great weekend.